Okay, so today is kind of an expanding on what I talked about before. Hi, I'm Chris Allen. It's extra cool. Just a little ditty that I do so I can talk a little bit more. So when I was on the air today, I had mentioned that I was at a funeral for my aunt over the weekend. And everybody knows that I'm into the paranormal, so they all came up to me and they were like, "Hey, Chris, I got to tell you this. Chris, I got to tell you this." Some of the most interesting ones had to do with my Aunt Pat. My cousin Dave, who is Pat's son, came to me and he says, "Hey, I got to show you something." I said, "Okay." So he brought me my Aunt Pat's obituary from the newspaper. And in the obituary, it talks about how she used to work at Hardware Hank and everything, and she worked in the paint department and always tried to talk people into buying green because green is her favorite color. At the bottom of the page, after the obituary is done, is an ad for paint. And in the ad, the people are holding a swatch and the color is green. I found that to be kind of weird. One of the other things I heard over the weekend, my cousin Dave came to me and he goes, "I got to tell you something else." He works for Frito-Lay and he was putting out his chips and everything. And he said, "As I'm putting them out, I'm looking at them and they're all coming up May 22nd, May 22nd, May 22nd. Now, this is just before he left to come home for the funeral. That's his mom, my Aunt Pat's birthday. They all had an expiration date of her birthday on it. That's not all. My second cousin, John, said they stopped to go gamble. Now, they're not gamblers, but my Aunt Pat was. And so they stopped at one of the places that she likes to gamble at and went and gambled on some of the machines. And he says, "I kept winning and winning and winning." And he said, this was on the way up. He won $2,400. He says, "I know my Aunt Pat was looking down on me." My cousin's wife, Mary, comes up to me and she says, "I got to tell you something really weird." I don't remember the whole story, but it had to do with the fact that a certain time, 9:05, is when something happened to her. And Mary said, "I knew something was wrong. Something was wrong." And it just so happened that was the time that my Aunt Pat passed away. And they said the same thing to all of them. I said, "Pat's trying to speak to you. She's letting you know that she's around. And there's going to be a lot more that when we're done with the funeral and we're done with the visitation and everything, there's going to be a whole bunch more things." And the part that I was really moved by was from my son. My son kept wanting to go up and see her picture and stand next to her urn. And he also wanted to go up. They have a huge family picture. And he wanted to go up and look at that family picture. And later on, we wound up going outside and we were sitting in the back of my SUV. And Sam turns to me and he says, "Dad, we all need to talk more." And I said, "Yeah, we do." And he says, "I wish I had talked to Pat more." Fair enough. Pat was talking to me. That's extra cool for today.